Hello everyone, welcome back to Barre. My name is Cait. I'm the Barre instructor at Eau Claire. For at least a couple more weeks, I am graduating in May, so sad not to be in the studio for this last semester, but I'm very happy that we are able to connect virtually and still have great workouts together. If you've never done a barre workout before, it's a total body strength and kind of toning workout. So it's a little bit of combination between yoga, Pilates, strength moves, a lot of different things. Really high repetition, but low impact. So no cardio, just strength. We'll start off with a little bit of a warm up, and then we'll move on to some legs. We'll go to arms, and then we'll move down to the mat, do some mat work and some core work, and then we will be on our way. Starting off with our warm up, we are going to start off with pulling that knee up towards the ceiling. So just marching it out as you drive those elbows down to the floor. So with barre, we always want to be thinking about posture. So you always want to have your shoulders rolling back away from your ears. We always want that spine to be nice and straight, really lengthening that spine. So always standing up tall. We also want to engage that core. So always think about pulling that belly button back towards your spine. It's also going to help you with some balance. I'm going to move off my mat because that's kind of loud as I step on it. Using those lower abs to get that knee up, drive those elbows down, get that heart rate going just a little bit. 4, 3, 2, 1. From here, opening out to the side, opening up those hips, those elbows coming back, really squeezing those shoulder blades. Keep that core engaged. 4, 3, 2, and 1. From here, you're just gonna circle out one hip, making some circles with that knee, couple backwards and a couple forward. And you can switch legs. Perfect. Whenever you're ready, shake it out a little bit. We're gonna step those feet wider than shoulder width apart. So this is gonna come into a sumo squat. So from here, those toes are gonna be angled out at a comfortable angle. So they're not pointing forward, they're pointing out towards the corners of the room just a little bit. So from here, we're gonna slide down a wall. So instead of a squat where you're coming and sitting back like this, we're just gonna slide down straight. So those hips are gonna stay right beneath your shoulders, and those ears are gonna stay right over those shoulders. Those shoulders are gonna be over your hips and your ears are gonna be over your shoulders. There we go. As always, you're keeping that core engaged, and you also want to tuck those hips under. So I like to think of it as if you have flashlights on your hip bones, just kind of pointing them up just to where the wall meets the ceiling. So not straining yourself, but just tucking under just a little bit. It's also going to lengthen your spine. So we're lowering all the way down, squeezing on the way back up. If you want some arm work here, you can bring those arms out to the front like you're holding a beach ball. Also making sure that those knees are going in the direction of your second toe. So you don't want them coming into the center. Really use those inner thighs to open up those knees. Power down, squeeze back up. Again, we want that spine to be lengthened and those shoulders are down. So we don't want them coming up towards our ears, really rolling them back down your back. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. From here, we're gonna sink low. We're gonna come into a pulse. So this is a barre staple. We do a lot of pulsing in barre, just a couple inches up and a couple inches back down. Small motion, but very effective. Keep watching that posture. Pull that belly button to your spine. You are sinking as low as you can here, just moving a couple inches up, couple inches back down. Hopefully you're starting to get a little bit warmed up. From here, we're gonna lift up that right heel. You can't really see mine lifting up right now, but you're rolling up onto those toes. So that heel is gonna come up off the floor as high as you can possibly get it. Up on those right toes. Keep pulsing. We switch in 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping that right heel, lifting up that left heel. Keep pulsing. If you can't feel this yet, sink a little bit lower. We're almost there. 4, 3, 2, 1. From here, lifting both heels up off the ground. This is gonna take some balance. Use that core, otherwise you can use a wall or a chair for balance as well. Squeeze those glutes. Make sure those shoulders are still right over your hips. You're not leaning forward, you're not leaning back. Everything stays in one line. Sink a little bit lower, lift up those heels. You're almost there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping your heels, standing all the way back up. Walking those feet in together. Shake out those legs. We're gonna bring it down to the mat to warm up our upper body. Moving down to the mat, we're gonna warm up those arms. So we're gonna be sitting with our feet planted. We're gonna plant those hands back behind us. So you can either have your fingers pointing out to the sides, or you can have them pointing back towards your hips, whatever feels better on your wrists. If you do have sensitive wrists, it's better to do this on a hard surface. That will give your wrists a little bit more support, unlike carpet. So wherever you're doing this, make sure it feels okay on your wrists. So from here, we're gonna push into the heels of our hands here. We're gonna just dip back and then push up, really working those triceps here. Getting those shoulders warmed up. Really making sure that you're using your arms here. So it's really easy to just use your abs and just go like that, but really pushing into those hands, lifting back up, really putting all of your weight from your upper body into your hands, again, instead of just using your core or your back. As always, we want to make sure those shoulders aren't towards your ears. So you really want to be lifting up, lifting that chest. So instead of coming back down here, going like this, you really want to create as much space between your ears and your shoulders as possible. Always thinking about that posture, wanting to keep that spine lengthened as well as that neck. We also want to make sure that our elbows are towards each other, so they're not coming out to the side. I'll turn it out so you can see this a little bit better. So you want to make sure that they're going straight back. You're not coming out to the side. Even if your hands are pointing out to the sides, still making sure you're squeezing those shoulder blades, squeezing those elbows. You're not coming out and open. You should be starting to feel this in those shoulders and in your triceps. Couple more. You know we can't move on in bar unless we pulse. It's kind of a rule. So we will pulse here in 4, 3, 2, 1. Bringing it back, little tiny pulses here. Just a couple centimeters up, couple centimeters down, squeezing those elbows so that they're not coming out to the side. They're going straight back. Squeeze those shoulder blades, sitting up tall. Make sure that chest is lifted. Sink back a little bit lower. A little bit lower. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reaching back up. Can shake out those arms a little bit. Bringing one across your body, stretch it out. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit more warmed up now. From here, switching arms. We'll be moving up to standing. So if you would like, I'm gonna be using a chair for this next portion for balance, kind of as a bar. You can use a wall, you can use a door, a doorknob, you can use a piece of furniture, countertop, whatever you have, and we will move on to some legs. We're gonna start with our left hand on that bar, that chair, piece of furniture, whatever you're using. You can also do this without holding on to anything. That's gonna work that core a little bit more, working balance. Otherwise, left hand is going to be on that object. So from here, I'm going to turn to the side just a little bit so you can see better, but you can just keep facing the front. So we're going to step our feet just about shoulder width apart. So from here, that right arm can come out to the front. We're going to sink back into a chair and then stand it right back up. So unlike our sumo squat where we were sliding down a wall, this is more of a regular squat where you're sending those hips back. So weight is going to be in your heels, light hand grip on that object. So we're not death gripping it. It's just there for balance. So just a couple fingertips can rest on it, really using that core for balance. Again, like I said, your weight should be in your heels, so you should be able to wiggle those toes just fine. Keep those shoulders down, that spine lengthened. Again, if you don't want to use that object, you can always bring that hand off of it, just using that core. Sinking those hips low. You really want to make sure that those knees are facing or pointing towards the front. Those legs are pretty much parallel. Squeezing at the bottom, squeezing on the way up. So for those of you who come to my class or who know me, I'm rather tall. I'm 5'10", so it's kind of a challenge getting my whole body in the camera because it's either cutting off like my head or cutting off my feet. So I think I got the camera further enough away so that you can see all of me, but it's kind of a challenge because I'm very tall. Couple more here. Also making sure that the weight is equally distributed between both feet. So especially when we have that object, we don't want to be leaning towards it. We want to make sure both feet have equal weight. 4, 3, 2, 1, you know what's coming next. We're going to be down and pulsing. So a couple inches up, couple inches down, sitting back in that chair. You don't have to be super low. You can see here my hips aren't my legs aren't parallel with the ground. As long as you're feeling it in those muscles here. Again, bar is all about high repetition. So we're not doing that squat all the way to the floor because we're going to be in this pulse for a pretty good amount of time. Keep that weight in your heels. Pull that belly button back towards your spine. Sink a little bit lower here. 4, 3, 2, 1, standing up from here. So this time you're probably going to want to hang on to that object with that left hand. We're going to be having that left leg as our supporting leg. So we're going to pull back into that chair pose or that squat. So we're going to keep that left leg right where it's at, that lefts and rights, that left leg right where it's at, right arm comes forward, right leg comes forward. So we're going to have that right leg straight to the front, point through those toes so you're lengthening that leg. So pretend like you're trying to touch a point on the floor that's further away from you. Pretend like you're trying to reach that point with your toes. So sink low on your left leg. Oh my goodness. Sink low on your left leg. We're going to lift and lower that right leg. So again, you're pointing through those toes. It's really going to engage those muscles. Check your posture here. You should be standing up super tall. Shoulders should be right over your hips. So we're not leaning forward. We're high enough in that supporting leg that we can keep our upper body right over those hips. Your weight should still be in your left heel, so you should still be able to wiggle those toes. And again, you don't have to be super low in that left leg. Lifting and lowering, just tapping those toes. I'm starting to shake a little bit. If you can't feel this yet, sink lower in that left leg. For 4, 3, 2, and 1, pulsing that right leg up. Point through those toes, lengthen that leg, roll your shoulders back. It doesn't matter how high you're getting that leg, as long as you're engaging those muscles. It can be a couple centimeters off the floor, it can be a couple feet off the floor, whatever works for you. Sink a little bit lower in that left leg. As we fatigue, it's really easy to want to stand up. Stay low. We're almost there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to those taps. So lifting and lowering that right leg. You're almost there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Tapping those toes down, standing it back up, shaking out those legs just a little bit. We're gonna stick on this side. So from here, we're gonna come back into our chair pose. So bringing those feet back to shoulder width apart, weight is in your heels. That right arm comes forward, sitting back, sending those hips back behind you. Use that core. Full range of motion here. Squeeze at the bottom, squeeze at the top, driving those hips back, driving them right back up. Really putting some power behind this motion. Powering down, shooting back up. If you want an added challenge, you can roll up on your toes. Doing this on your toes takes a little bit more balance. Make sure those knees are still driving forward. Four, 3, 2, 1. From here, we're gonna stay low again. The left leg is gonna be our supporting leg. We're gonna tap out to the side, bring it back in. Tap out, back to center. Stay low in that left leg. I guess if you want a really big challenge, you can roll up on those left toes. It's very challenging though, so feel free to keep that heel down. Again, we're lengthening that right leg, reaching it as far away as we can, bringing it back in. We're not leaning over towards that object, staying tall, stretch there for a little bit of balance, a little bit of support. Everything else comes from that core. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pointing out to the side, lifting and lowering, really pointing through those toes. Stay low in that left leg. There's a bunch of geese flying by my house. I don't know if you can hear that. Couple more here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Tapping it back in, tapping out. One last round here. We're not here for too long. Sink a little lower in that left leg. Couple more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Planting that right foot, standing it up, shake it out a little bit. If you need to stretch, you can grab that left ankle, stretching out the front of your leg. And release whenever you're ready. So from here, we're gonna take a quarter turn. So you're gonna start facing your object. So from here, we're gonna keep that left leg forward. We're gonna bring it into a lunge. So stepping back with that right leg, we're gonna lunge down, standing it right back up. So this, you really wanna make sure those hips are pointing to the front. We're not opening up to the side, really making sure, especially that right hip is pushing forward. So driving down, standing right back up. Make sure you can see your toes, your left toes, the whole time. So we're not leaning forward. That knee stays right over your ankle. Those shoulders stay right over those hips. You're not leaning forward towards your object. Everything stays in one line. Driving that back knee towards the floor. Again, if you want that added challenge, feel free. Roll up on those toes. 4, 3, 2, 1, down and pulse. Couple inches up, couple inches down. Keep that hip forward. Staying low. Sink a little bit lower. 4, 3, 2, 1. Standing it back up. So from here, we're gonna come back down into that lunge. Stand it up, and from here, we're gonna shift forward, keeping a slight bend in that left leg. So you're not locking that knee, still a slight bend. You're gonna lift up that back heel, bring it up all the way towards your hips, place it back down, lunge. So stand up, shift forward, squeeze that heel into your glutes, drive that knee back down. This is really gonna engage that left leg. It should be burning, but also getting those glutes in there. Keep it up. Sinking low in that lunge. Firing up tall as you bring that heel in. 4, 3, 2, 1, wherever you're at. Shifting forward. Keep that slight bend in your left leg. Bringing that heel in and out. Shooting energy out through your heel, really flexing that foot. Squeezing it back in. So shooting energy back behind you. And then squeeze, bringing that heel back in. Keep that left leg bent. Your weight should still be in that left heel, so you should be able to wiggle those left toes. Shoulders are still rolling back. 4, 3, 2, 1. Squeezing that heel in, pulsing up. So with this, again, we don't want to open those hips up. You want to keep pressing that right hip towards the front or towards whatever object you're using. Squeeze that heel back towards your glutes so it's not coming down here. You're squeezing that heel in as you pulse it up. A lot to think about. Keep that knee up, don't let it come down here. Again, make sure you're not having a death grip on that object. We're not putting our weight onto it. Oh, falling over. You're just using it for balance. So just a little bit of support. You're engaging that core. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down, shaking out those legs. You can bring that left ankle over that right knee. Sit it back. Stretch out that left hip, those left glutes a little bit. Whenever you're ready, standing it back up. We're going to do all of this on the other side. So I'm going to flip my chair around so you can still see. Starting back off with that squat. So those feet are shoulder width apart, light hand grip on that object. That left arm can come forward this time. Sitting those hips back, driving them forward. Again, when you're thinking about that posture, if you want that added challenge, rolling up onto those toes. Get a couple more in here, then you know we have to pulse. One more, down and pulse. Couple inches up, couple inches down. Shifting those hips back. You got it. Keep it up a little bit longer. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sending those hips back up. So again, you're gonna point that right leg. Oh my gosh, that left leg this time. Right leg's gonna be your supporting leg. Left leg you're gonna point forward. So you're sinking back. Keep that supporting leg low. Pointing forward with those left toes. Reach through those toes, lengthening that leg. Lift and lower. Keep creating space between those ears and your shoulders. You don't want to bring your shoulders up, but really keeping them down, away from your ears. You got it, couple more. And up and pulse, couple inches up, couple inches down. Extend through those toes. Keep that core for balance. Stay low in that right knee. Again, it doesn't matter how high you're getting that leg, as long as you're engaging those muscles. Reach through those toes, lengthening that leg. 4, 3, 2, 1, tap and lift. One more round here. My hip is cramping up a little bit. You are done in 4, 3, 2, 1. Bringing it down. Shake it out just a little bit. From here, we are moving back to that squat. So sending those hips back, lifting back up. Watch that posture. Weight is in your heels, or you can also be up on those toes. Couple more here. Perfect, standing it back up. So from here, we're gonna be pointing that left leg out to the side and then bringing it back in. So tapping those toes to center, tapping them out as far away from your body as you can. So again, you're lengthening that leg as we sink back into that squat. So keep that right knee bent, tapping in and out. Option to keep that arm to the front. Again, if you want that added challenge, feel free, roll up on those toes. Otherwise, keep that weight in your heel. We're not leaning over towards that object. Everything stays in one line. Keep that spine straight, shoulders right over your hips and down, away from your ears. Last one, pointing out to the side, lift and lower. Point through those toes. Keep that weight right over that supporting leg. It's really easy to want to lean over to the side to get that leg up. Stay centered. Slow and controlled. You're not throwing your leg up and letting it fall back down. Really controlling it on the way up. Slowly squeezing back down. Don't just let it fall back down with gravity. You can do it. We're almost there. Sink lower in that knee. Lift that left leg a little bit higher. 4, 3, 2, 1. From here, tapping those toes back to center, tapping them out to the side. One more round here. Done in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tapping those toes back in, standing it up, shake out those legs. Again, we're going to take a quarter turn here, facing that object. We are going to keep that right leg forward, stepping that left leg back, coming into our lunge again, making sure your feet are wide enough apart that when you lunge down, that knee stays over your ankle. So if your legs are too close together, you're going to just send that knee forward, and that's not what you want. You want to be able to see those toes the whole time. So lunging back, standing it right back up. Those shoulders are rolling back. They stay right over your hips. We're not opening up to the side. You're keeping those hips squared off to the front, really pushing that left hip forward, not bringing it open as you come up. As always, if you want some more core work, you can take those hands off the object, just using that core for balance. Otherwise, light hand grip. Driving that back knee down, powering back up. Get a couple more good ones in. You know what's next. We are down and pulsing. Same thing, couple inches up, couple inches down. I know we're tired, we can do it. Four, 3, 2, 1. From here, coming back into that lunge. So lunging down, up, shift forward, squeeze that heel in, stepping back, lunge down, squeeze that heel in, lunge. Keep watching that posture. From here, one more. As we shift up this time, you're pulsing that heel up towards your hip. So we don't want that knee locked. Stay low in that right knee. Pulse that heel in, keeping that knee up. Four, 3, 2, 1. From here, squeeze that heel towards your hips. You're going to pulse that knee up this time. That supporting leg should be shaking. Mine definitely is. You're almost there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Shaking out those legs. Feel free to bring one ankle over that knee. Sit it back. Stretching out those hips. And stand it back up. We are done with legs. We're going to move on to some arms. So for arms today, we're going to be working with some arm circles. So we're going to start off, those palms are going to be facing the floor. We're just going to pulse those arms down. So this whole time you want your shoulders or your hands in line with your shoulders. So we're not bringing them down here. They're not up here. They're not to the front. They're not going to the back. Right in line with your shoulders, right at the same height as your shoulders. We also, as always, want to create that space between our ears and our shoulders as well. So squeeze those shoulder blades together, pulsing those hands down. Four, 3, 2, 1. Those palms are going to come forward, pulsing to the front. Four, 3, 2, 1. Flipping those palms up, pulsing to the ceiling. Four, three, two, one, back to the front. And flip those palms down, pulsing down. Reaching through those fingertips. Keep lengthening those arms. Four, three, two, one. From here, flipping those palms back up. We're gonna bring those elbows into your sides, straightening them all the way back out. Really engaging your muscles here. So pretend like you have super heavy plates or something super heavy in your hands. So you're not just flinging your arms forward and backwards, but really pretend like you have resistance on those arms. So sending them out, squeezing that whole time. Squeeze those elbows back into your ribs. Really engage those muscles, putting a lot of weight behind this. Keep those shoulders down. Extending those arms all the way out. So we're not just staying down here, they're coming all the way out. Four, three, two, one. From here, same thing. This time we're gonna flip those hands. So they're gonna be, those palms are gonna face the ceiling as we come in, facing kind of towards the back. So you're getting a pretty big rotation here. Really gonna engage those muscles. So palms come from facing the ceiling, facing the floor, and then all the way almost back to the ceiling. If you can't feel this yet, you can go a little bit faster. You can always do this too if you have weights at home. Feel free to do it with weights. You could also use like books or cans or anything like that. Otherwise, body weight works pretty well. Four, three, two, and one. Keep those arms out, pulsing down. So your thumb should be pointing towards, almost towards the floor, kind of towards the back wall or where the floor meets the wall. Pulsing backwards. This one is a whole nother level. You can do it. Keep those hands up. Don't let them come down here. Four, three, two, one. Bring those arms down. Give yourself a hug, shake it out a little bit, or stretch it out a little bit. You can swing one arm, circling it out to the side. Switching directions, shake it out. And switching arms. And switch directions. Perfect. We're gonna move down to the mat and do some mat work and some core. A couple more moves here. We are getting close to the end. So with abs, we're gonna start off with our legs all the way straight. So you wanna keep those toes touching. So from here, make sure you have enough space. You're sitting up tall. We're gonna make an L with our arms. So your left arm is gonna be up to start. That right arm is gonna be out to the side. From here, we're gonna roll all the way back down, keeping that left arm above your head, and then lift back up. Slow and controlled here, lifting up through your chest. So you're not straining your neck to sit up. You're lifting and lowering. Lifting up, bringing it back down. Lifting up. Sitting up nice and tall, keep those toes pressing together, squeeze those legs together, lowering back down. Halfway there, reach through those fingers. Couple more. Last one. Rolling all the way back up. Perfect. We're going to switch that. Right arm is going to be up this time. Left arm is going to be open to the side, rolling back down. Squeeze those toes together. Reach through those fingertips, lifting up. Slowly rolling back down. Sitting up nice and tall. Couple more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Wherever you're at, sitting all the way back up. You can drop those arms down. From here, we're gonna have our arms forward. So keep pressing those toes together. We're gonna roll all the way back down onto the floor again. So from here, we're gonna have our arms right by our sides. Here, we're gonna bring those legs all the way up. So inhale, pointing those toes up towards the ceiling. From here, we're gonna reach up towards those toes, bringing those arms back. You can either have them back behind your head, or you can place them on the floor, slowly lowering all the way back down. From here, you're gonna lift up, reach towards those toes. So kind of almost like a Pilates roll up, but with a little extra something in there. So rolling all the way back, you can place those hands on the floor. Inhale, bringing those legs up, reaching up, crunching towards those toes, lowering back, all the way back down slowly, sitting back up, reaching towards those toes. So as always, we want to keep those toes, those feet pressing together, rolling back, lifting up those legs, crunching up towards the ceiling, lowering slowly, slowly, slowly back down. So keep going with this. Another option, you can bend those knees, crunch up, lower them back down, doing a normal crunch like this, lifting those knees back in, crunching up to the ceiling, lowering back down. So whatever you're feeling, either keeping those legs straight or bent, you are on. Lowering those legs back down, sitting all the way up, either reaching towards those toes or just doing that crunch if you have your feet planted. Inhale, lift those toes to the ceiling or having those knees bent. Crunching up, making sure you're lifting from the middle of your chest as you crunch up. Again, we don't want to strain our neck or back. And as always, you really want to be making sure you're pulling your belly button down towards the floor, making sure that spine is straight. So we don't want an arch coming up off of the mat. If you feel that arch, definitely start bending your knees. If your legs are straight and you start feeling your back arching up off the floor, bend those knees, doing this variation instead. If you have your knees bent and you feel that, tapping one toe at a time, just staying here instead. Really want to protect that lower back. Whatever variation you are doing here, staying strong, getting as many in as you can, taking this at your own pace. This is your workout, whatever works for you. Making sure you are staying controlled as you lift and lower those legs, whether your knees are bent or whether they're straight, either way. I know it's hard, we're so close, power through. You can do it. couple more good ones in there. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wherever you're at, straightening those legs, bringing those arms up above your head for a wall-to-wall stretch. Breathe it out. Reach through those fingers, reach through those toes. And whenever you're ready, peeling back up off the mat, sitting up tall. Thank you so much for joining me for Barre today. Again, my name is Cait. I'm so missing being in the studio with all of you, but again, I'm so happy that we can connect virtually. Hope you had a great workout, and I will see you next time.